All right, Raider Nation, what is going on? It is the Raider D here with RaiderNation Hotspot. Hot Beavers in the house on a lovely Sunday evening, Mother's Day edition. Hope everybody had fun, took care of the mamas out there, which you should be doing every day anyway. Should not just do it once a year. Actually, in Islam, there's a quote that we live by, which is "Heaven lies beneath the feet of your mother." In other words, treat your mama good, or you might be going to hell. So, what is going on, Hotspot man? We're going to be talking about Max Crosby and a plan that he has. Whether or not it's going to be achievable or not, I think it is.
Yeah,
What's going on, brother?
man. Uh, Having some coffee and getting ready to chat about the Raiders. So I'm having a good day.
So, everybody we're just getting started, and Sundays is always kind of a slow day on the live podcast anyway, but now it's Mother's Day, so hopefully people are taking time out, taking mamas out to dinner and stuff, the wifeys and whatnots. So I'm gonna drop this on here again just so that people can see what it is that we're talking about. So this Max Crosby said, and let me turn this off here. Captions. Okay. Max Crosby said, "I want to be the Raiders' all-time sack leader. That's something big on my checklist." Now, if you look at where he's at right now in his career, he's got 52. He's ninth overall for the Raiders' all-time sack leader. Obviously, he only needs 10 sacks this season to tie for third place with Ben Davidson. Very achievable for him. I'm actually expecting, as long as there's no health issues, I'm expecting him to end up somewhere between 14 to 18 sacks this season with the addition of Christian Wilkins taking on some of those double teams. Is going to free him up. And then, the dude just keeps getting better every year. So moving now, he's a full-grown man now. He is at the peak prime of his potentialities. I think that he has a pretty good chance of hitting that, 16, 17, 18 sack season, which would put him in third place.
Right.
And within striking distance of Howie Long and Greg Townsend over the next 3-4 years of his career. Which we've got him locked up, and we're going to keep him locked up. I don't think you ever move on from a guy like Max Crosby. And I think Max Crosby he's getting paid so much money right now. His podcast is taking off, so he clearly has a future in broadcast. I'm sure he'll have some type of media company if he doesn't already. Money is not an issue for this guy. He's going to have money. I think that when it comes time for him to re-up his contract, he's going to take a team-friendly deal because he doesn't want to go anywhere, doesn't want to play anywhere else. And if we're winning, then stick with it, right? And chase that goal and become the number one all-time sack leader for the Raiders and join the Hall of Legends in the silver and black. What do you think about that? How realistic is this for him to achieve as a Raider?
Yeah, I think it's extremely realistic for him. I think to finish this next contract as the all-time sack leader for the Raiders. The pace that he's on, yeah, I could absolutely see him passing Townsend before, the actual term on this contract runs out. Of course, before that happens, we would have re-upped him and that sort of thing. But, if we're talking just the, yeah.
Michael F. makes a really good point here. I didn't even take into consideration. Both of the top two was back when it was 14 games. And now we play 17.
Yeah.
So that helps him a lot as well. The fact that we play 17 and we're going to 18.
Yep.
We're going to be playing 18 games a season. That's the NFL's plan, right? I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know if they're in the next year or 2 years, but I would say within the next couple of years, we're going to be at 18 games a season.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they want to get rid of the one more preseason game.
Right. Right.
Now,
Yeah. Which is
the NFL Players Association does not like this at all. And they think about it from a player's perspective. Let's look at it like this, right? Let's say you signed a 5 or a 6 year deal, and then you're only getting paid to play 17 games. And then next year they say, oh, but now you got to play an extra game. Well, basically, you're playing that game for free now.
Oh no, they get a game check for preseason games as well. So,
but not. I mean, you're not playing in that though. Is Max Crosby going to play in a preseason game?
no, but
So
does that
basically,
matter?
right? Well, I mean, it does because
No,
now he
because
has to play. So
he used to
essentially,
play in a pre. They just basically, the coaches basically just back that out of preseason. Like, so every time that they add a regular season game, the starters play less in the preseason. And now we've gotten to the point where, we're going to, move training camp, just for the express purpose of being able to do intramural practices because of the fact that, they're just going to keep kind of backing away players playing in preseason games. I mean, I would doubt that once we go to 18 games, you see any starters in any preseason games at all. There'll only be two, and it'll just be like the bottom of the roster. So you're trying to see
yeah,
who's
you're
going to
looking at the rookies. You're looking at
make.
on the UDFA's. You're looking at the free agents that you've picked up, basically for nothing, just to see what they got. But yeah, that's understandable for sure. But I'm just looking at it like right now we got 3 games of preseason,
Right.
right? Max Crosby might get in one game for maybe one series, maybe 2 at the most.
Right.
Whereas now, guys like
Spend the
him,
full
the
game.
superstars, now they
Yeah.
have to play another game. So if it was
Yeah.
me, I would be like, wait a minute. Like I want more money now because I'm doing
Yeah.
extra work now, right?
I think that they might actually expand, like when they actually add a game. We'll have to go ahead and I'll look into that. But I think they add another game check based on the fact that you're playing an
I
additional
mean,
game.
you would think they'd have to, right? I mean,
I believe
basically,
they
other than
do.
that, you're basically just telling people work for free,
Yeah,
endanger
because
your
the
body for
salary is
free,
pretty
right?
prorated. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll look into that, but I think that's how it works. But I think anytime the NFLPA can resist and get something extra out of it, they probably should and will. And so they'll probably get some sort of extra, bonus out of that in order to comply with the extra game.
So Johnny Gruden, Chucky's in here again. Been a while, Chucky. Haven't seen you, man. How you been? How's that court case going?
He's
But
correct.
no, he makes a good point. They should put 2 bye weeks in now if we go to 18.
I
I
believe that's the
agree.
plan too. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely are going to need that because I mean you're the toll that this game takes on players' bodies. And you and I have talked to guys that are out of the NFL now, and they've told us
Yeah.
what this does to them. I don't see how you keep these superstars healthy through an 18-week season unless you're giving them an extra week off. So I think it's a big deal right now that they get more time off just to heal and recuperate because otherwise, you're going to have guys like Max Crosby that are going to want to go out there and blow their knees out because they don't want to come out of the game. So you're going to have to like literally
Yeah.
force these dudes off the field.
Yeah, I think the rumored concessions were supposed to be the extra bye week and then an expanded roster, so more slots for players.
Which makes sense too. I've been thinking about that for a while now. Ever since they put in the new concussion protocols, you should have an expanded roster, because literally you lose guys for 1 to 2 weeks, even if you don't know if they have a concussion. Just it's a suspicion that they have a concussion. They go into protocol, and so
Yeah.
you back in the day, even just 15, 20 years ago, dudes would get knocked clean out on the field go out for a quarter or two, and they'd be back out
Hmm.
there playing, right?
Oh yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
in full blown concussion, and they're just right back out there playing.
Yep.
You don't do that anymore. And so they
No.
definitely need to address that situation. You got to have more depth on the team, because if you don't, what do you do when you got guys going down with concussions left, right, and center? I mean,
Yeah.
you usually get out of each game now. It's almost that you're getting at least one player in concussion protocol, and that's not
Which
talking about the hamstring pulls, the
right.
turf toes, the getting banged up on a a reception or something, and you're getting drip pile drived into the ground and get the wind knocked out of you.
Yeah.
Stuff like that happens all the time, but
Yeah.
it's just one more layer that the NFL needs to address. So
Hmm.
with that being said, I think for sure Max Crosby's going to break the all-time sack leaderboard for the Raiders. He will be number one. But I think that he needs to do it like in convincing style. Like, he needs to be like 130 sacks, because
Hmm.
there's going to be that asterisk on him of, well, you did it
Right.
with 17 games, you did it with 18 games in a regular season. Now,
Yeah.
what he could also do is he could come back and be like, yeah, well, for my first several years in the NFL, we never even made the playoffs, so playoff sacks count too. So you can count that for me, that I did this in the regular season, not the postseason.
It's per game, right? I mean, yeah. I think that's the doozy, right? Like, who gets there? Does he get to their number in the same amount of games or less? That's really like,
Right, right.
yeah. We'll
So
see. I think he's probably ahead of pace. So
he is. I mean, he's right there handling business. If he stays even at 12 sacks a year, he'll break the record in
hmm
what, 4 years?
right,
So,
and I think he's gonna get more than 12. I think he's gonna average more close to 15ish.
well, and that's the thing too, is if we can start making playoff runs, that adds games for him to do it. And again, all of this depends on him having a relatively healthy career for the rest of his career as well,
Of
because
course, yeah,
you know that knee thing, that's a concern, right? His hand, it's a concern, but not near as much of a concern as when it comes to the knee.
right,
Now, everything is so far so good with him on the knee,
yeah,
and hopefully it does not recur or come back. But then there can be other injuries that can happen. So we just hope that he doesn't have anything that comes up, and he can just keep on rolling. I think the addition of Christian Wilkins pretty much solidifies that Max Crosby is going to just be able to ball out now.
yeah. It's he's got to be really happy. He seems to be happy. Kind of floating around doing all kind of stuff and seeming like he's on top of the world right now. So that's good to see. You can't ask for a better line mate to as an interior player than like Christian Wilkins, and the way that he plays with that same kind of fire and determination that Max plays with. Like, he's bringing that same energy. So man, it's exciting for sure.
I mean, we got upgrades all over the defense. Obviously, the monster is Christian Wilkins. That's the
Right.
huge upgrade. But you got Tyree Wilson coming into his second year, so he should show some serious improvement coming into this year. He's fully healthy. He's getting a full training camp this year under the same system 2 years in a row now. So he should be able to take that next step and show, hey, I am a first round draft pick guy. Let me show you. And then Malcolm Coons coming off his best year ever. He's, in a contract year. It's, hey, let me ball out, right? Because
Yeah.
I want to get the bag. I want that bag. Everybody else is
Yeah.
getting bags. Give me one. Let me show you what I can
Yeah.
do. So that competition between him and Tyree has just got to be absolutely phenomenal and fierce right now. That they're
Yeah.
both working their tails off to show that they're worth it and give me a big check. And then you got, we brought back Big John Jenkins, Adam Butler. So we got depth on the defensive line
Hmm.
now, which we didn't have a whole lot of last year. And then, I think that we're better at corner in the corner situation, even without signing any free agents right now.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if we're better at corner without Amik right now. I think we're at least the same on that side with Amik. At the very least, we're going to be at the same level of production as he was, because you do have to admit, yes, he did get beat on some big plays.
yeah,
That was kind of the downfall on him. But there is no denying that that dude is an absolute dog out there on the field. He plays bigger than
absolutely.
his body, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
I think that we'll at least be able to maintain the same level. I think Jack Jones is going to go off this year. I seen some of the practice. This kid is so deceptively fast. Like, and I'm not
yeah.
just talking about straight line fast, but he's twitchy fast. Like he can
Hmm.
move in different directions so quickly, and his
Yeah,
instincts are like that. It's
yes.
just like automatic. And so I'm
He
really
jumps
excited
up.
to see Jack Jones get at least 3 or 4 more pick sixes this year, and 10
Yeah,
interceptions plus, right? Because I think it's going to get to the point where I mean, he could be the next Namdi Asamoah, where they're just like, don't throw it to that side of the field. Wherever Jack Jones is, just don't throw it there, right? Which then puts a lot of pressure on our other younger corners. But
well,
I think
I think if
um,
you if, oh yeah, if you let our coordinator get a corner that can absolutely like take away a whole side, he'll he's going to roll coverage and put a situation together where the other players are, you know, able to perform at their best. So I think it would be his dream.
yep.
Patrick Graham would go nuts with
Oh
that.
yeah,
So
yeah. I think so for sure. I mean, if you just look at nobody wants no quarterback in the NFL wants to get stared down as Jack Jones is running into the end zone. That's just absolutely humiliating. It's taking the manhood away from them. Like,
yeah,
and it's going to get to that point if he does that a couple more times. It's going to get to the point where quarterbacks are going to literally be afraid. They're going to be afraid.
oh yeah,
And here's the difference between the way that Jack Jones plays reminds me a lot of Deion Sanders.
yes,
Obviously, not as fast as Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders was like lightning in a bottle. But what
right,
he is, he's not that much slower than Deion. What he is he's deceptively fast. His instincts are lightning fast, and he
yeah,
likes to bait quarterbacks. Whereas Namdi Asamoah was, I'm going to stick to the receiver. I'm not baiting anybody. I'm just going to stick to you like glue, and I'm going to
right,
take you completely out of the game. I know I'm not going to get a
right,
bunch of interceptions, but you're no there's not going to be any passes coming this way. Now, a guy who also reminds me of Namdi Asamoah that we just drafted is Dekamarian Richardson. That's kind of his
exactly,
game. He's
right,
not a big ball hawk, but he's a I'm gonna take you out of the game kind of guy. I'm gonna stick all over you like glue. And so it's gonna be an interesting dynamic. You're gonna have quarterbacks who are gonna be getting rushed by Max Crosby, Christian Wilkinson, Tyree Wilson, uh, Big John Jenkins, Malcolm Kuntz. They're not gonna have time back there. And so they're gonna have to pick their poison. Do you wanna get humiliated on national TV and get stared down as Jack Jones runs in for a touchdown?
right,
Or do you throw it to the speedy 6'2" guy who's going to stick
right.
all over your receiver?
Or
Right? Pick your
that might be
poison.
to Corey and Bennett also, who's the 4-3 guy, right? Who's blazing fast and who's actually a pretty ball conscious player himself, in
Yeah.
Ja'Cory and Bennett. So yeah, we got some talent out there, man. So it's nice to see.
I mean,
Right,
you can try a slant route, but then you're going up against Nate Hobbs.
right,
So that's
yeah,
not a great option either.
yeah,
Um,
right,
One of the things that I was really have been looking at is Eichenberg. So I've been
Yeah.
going back because I wasn't super familiar with him. I know there's a knock on him that he's not great in pass coverage, but I have to disagree. This
Yeah.
dude's a
They said that about
stud on.
Spillane. Yeah.
Yeah, this dude's an absolute stud in pass cut. And one of the great things about him that I've noticed is he has an excellent feel for passing lanes. Like he literally knows where his body needs to be to obstruct a
Yeah.
passing lane. Even if he's not
Absolutely.
sticking to the receiver, he's getting in the
Yeah.
way. And that
That's the
then
exact
makes it,
point.
yeah, the quarterbacks are then hesitant to throw because he can just jump up and take it. So
Exactly.
I think he's going to be an excellent addition to the linebacker core. Obviously, he's a rookie, so we'll see how much playing time he gets. But we do
Hmm.
know that Divine Diablo is a little bit injury prone. And I think that's
This is
exactly
true.
why they went and they drafted Eichenberg and to bring him in is
Hmm.
we need some
Okay.
depth there.
See, I see. I think Amari Burney is that depth for Diablo, and I think Eichenberg is the depth for Spillane. That's how I see it. I think they're very similar in that way. Also, with the coverage thing with linebackers, there's a lot put into linebacker not being good in coverage, and a lot of times what they're talking about is man coverage. Which, yeah, a lot of linebackers are not good in man coverage, but
Yeah, if they
smart.
were, they would be safeties.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly.
Which
But like
Divine
a smart,
Diablo wasn't he? He was a
yeah, he
safety,
was
right?
exactly.
Yeah,
He
he
was.
came out
Yeah,
as a safety. We made him a linebacker.
exactly. So, um, a lot of times those guys can still get some stuff done in zone drops because they're smart, and they can kind of anticipate and read what's happening and be in the right place and that sort of stuff. So, yeah,
Michael F says, well, let's see. Histic Stepper says, D Rich, a project. He can definitely develop with good coaching. Yeah, I agree. One of the things that's been a knock on him is he's too handsy. In the NFL, that's going to draw flags. So he
yeah,
really needs to work on that. Stop being so handsy. But there is no doubt that he is very good at coverage. He
yeah,
sticks to the receiver like glue. He rarely gets beat.
yes,
Most of the time, he's right there. He's just not a ball hawk too much. He doesn't have
no,
the best hands, and he
no,
doesn't get himself into position to steal the ball. And from what I can see, he doesn't try to bait quarterbacks, and that's why I say he reminds me a lot of Nnamdi Asomugha. That
yeah,
style of play of I'm just going to be physical with you. I'm going to touch
yep,
you like
yep,
Antonio Pierce was talking about, right? But when it comes
exactly,
to receivers, you better be careful of the touching because that will draw pass interference in the NFL really easy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but he just sticks to him really really tough. So
yeah.
I'm
I
excited to
think
see what he brings to the table.
I think he's a one trick pony right now. I think just because he's got to develop his feel for penalties, but then he'll turn into a player that can be press coverage and off man. That's what I see is his capabilities. But for now, I think you just need to put him in press coverage, and that's all he does, and go with that because the dude he's just going to mirror the receiver. He runs, mirrors the receiver, stays right in the hip pocket, and discourages the throw. Right, and then he's got enough ball skills to get deflections and things like that. But he doesn't typically, ball face or locate the ball for the purpose of trying to take it away. So it's just the way it is. I'm okay with that, right? And I think if we use him the right way, he can make a big impact in year one, and then as he develops his ball skills through coaching and his ability to understand how they're going to call pass interference, he could start to add in the off man stuff, and we'll see how smart he is at picking up zone packages and things like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So we got Lecky in the house, new subscriber, just tuned in. Salute to you, brother. Welcome in. If you just subscribe to the Raider D podcast, also make sure that you subscribe to this man over, nope, this way. Yep, that way. That guy right there. Hot Beavers over at RaiderNation Hotspot. His channel is also fire, guys. So you don't want to miss out on that. Um, and then we got Tubby Chili up in here says, what are the big plans? So a quick little recap. Let me throw this back up on the board for you guys. If you did not see this earlier, Max Crosby, oops, do that again. Max Crosby says that, let me pull this off here. He says, I want to be the Raiders' all time sack leader. That's something big on my checklist. So his plan is to literally surpass Greg Townsend at 107 and a half sacks in his career here with the Raiders. And so he is on pace to do that right now. As long as he stays healthy, we re-sign him, which I'm sure we will. You do not let a guy like Max Crosby go. You go all in on him, and he's that dude also where he's got the big bag. I'm sure he would do whatever it takes to take a team friendly deal if necessary to make sure that A, we win some Super Bowls, B, he gets that record in completely in hand and joins the Raiders Hall of Fame by being the all-time sack leader. So I think he's definitely going to be able to do it. It's great that we have a homegrown guy. I mean, this is a dude that we drafted, and he's going to get this record as long as everything goes right for him.
Yeah.
Versus bringing in somebody that's a free agent. Obviously, there's no problem with bringing in somebody who is a free agent, but it's just so much cooler that, hey, yeah, we actually drafted this dude and developed him, and he's just a Raider through and through. So I'm hopeful that Mad Max spends his entire career with the Raiders, and I'm sure as long as he stays healthy, he's going to have probably one of those 12 to 14 year careers in the NFL, barring any major injuries.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a special player, so it's awesome to be able to just kind of watch this happen, especially for a guy that we got later, and so heck of a steal. I'd like to see where he goes down on the list of like all time draft steals when his career is over, because I think he's going to be in a conversation with some other guys.
I mean, there's no way if he breaks the Raiders record for all-time sack leader, how does that dude not get a first ballot Hall of Fame?
Yeah, got to be.
You know what I'm saying? Howie Long's in there, so you break Howie Long's record, you're going into the Hall of Fame, and so you got a Hall of Famer. I mean, it wasn't like he was Mr. Irrelevant or anything. He wasn't a 7th round draft pick. I mean, we grabbed him in the 4th, right? So I mean, 4th is still pretty good. I mean, you look at the school he came out of, Eastern Michigan, right? It's not like he's not one of the big name schools. I mean, we got a dude right now, and Trey Taylor, who has the all the essentials for him to have a fantastic career, and we got him in the 7th round, right? So I think if Trey Taylor ends up in the Hall of Fame, then you could be like, oh my God, you got a Hall of Famer in the 7th round. So, I mean, it does happen. Brady, unfortunately, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. 6th round draft pick. But, something that's not mysterious is the fact, I mean, it's not even mysterious because they know why. But over 1 million men are suffering from low testosterone right here in the United States, and it happens to be because of our sedentary lifestyle now, the garbage that we eat, the chemicals in the water. It is at an all-time crisis low of testosterone. This goes from everything to affecting your health, your libido, your energy, brain fog, all of that type of stuff is a direct result of low testosterone. And a lot of guys, unfortunately, are getting on testosterone replacement therapy, which has all kinds of negative side effects, everything from shrinking your boys downstairs to losing hair, pimples, mood swings, hot flashes like you're a girl or something. Like, all of this stuff is negative to it, but there is an answer that you do not have to go through this stuff. I've been taking it myself for a year, and that is Tongat Ali and Fedosia agrestis. These are clinically proven Asian supplements that they've been using for 1,000 years, which is why they all look like Bruce Lee over in Asia, while we all look like a bunch of fat turds over here in the United States. But this stuff actually works, man. I take 2 in the morning. I do my workout. You do got to work out. You got to try and eat healthy. You know what I mean? Don't just live off of McDonald's, which you should boycott them anyway. They're a terrible company. They're just poisoning you and the world. But you know what I'm saying? So take your Tonga Ali and your Fedosia Agressus in the morning. It comes in 1 pill. You take 2 pills. Go hit your workout. Eat some fruits and some vegetables. Go for a walk. Whatever it does, just get off the couch. And it's fantastic. And our channel sponsor, Earth Elixir, great sponsor, owned by a Raiders lifetime fan. And the link is going to save you 15% on your very first order. So go and check them out today. And get yourself right, man. Get yourself right. Fix that libido problem. That's why they said childbirth is like an all-time low right now in the United States. ain't nobody having
Wow.
ain't nobody having relations, and that's
Jesus
because
Christ.
too many guys are low on testosterone.
Oh,
But yeah,
boy.
there's definitely some guys that are not low on testosterone. That's I'm gonna say pretty much the entire Raiders locker room, because these dudes are hyped up. They are ready to go. They cannot wait to go out there and crush some heads this season, man. Got my boy Raiders Rebel in the house. Salute to you, brother. What is going on? Guys, if you don't know who Raiders Rebel is, he's also another Raiders content creator. Please go and check out his channel. He be dropping some fire
Yes.
over there, man. Go and check him out. Big Nada in the house. Um,
Raiders Rebel makes a good point about Townsend not having the true Raider sack record because of accumulating
not
some of those with the Eagles and
right. And that's why I was saying that is so cool that we have, Max Crosby is a homegrown. We drafted him. So he spends his
right.
entire career, which means he gets all of his sacks just with us and not somebody else, right? And so that's, like him and Howie Long, like these dudes
Right.
are Raiders through and through.
Yeah.
So, but, technically Townsend still does have the record. As a player for the Raiders, he had 107 and a half sacks. Not all with the Raiders, but he still has that record.
Yeah.
Obviously, Howie has it for being a Raider, and
Yeah.
then Max will have it for being all Raiders. So that's what I'm looking forward to. It's going to take a couple years, but I think for sure. We got Christian Wilkins taking off those double teams. I think you're going to see a couple of years of Max being in the hunt, in the lead, and winning Defensive Player of the Year now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Max unleashed, which is scary because
Yeah.
he apparently he has been leashed. So,
I mean, if
and
you look back at it, he's never had any help on that line.
no, no, it's really scary to see what he might do because I mean the guy is literally putting pressure on seemingly every snap.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's fun to watch. Man. I think he might go for 20.
The
His
only
number.
the only question is really going to come down to is how are the referees going to allow tackles to put him in a chokehold?
Yeah, this is
Because
what I think.
I seen
I think
so many of those. He should have had 18 sacks last year.
yeah,
Because there was at
yeah,
least
yeah,
4 times where he was there and there's just a clear hold that's pulling him back.
yeah. I think there's an anticipation of him doing something. And I think if he starts off hot, that they'll just kind of be this thing where okay, like Max is on a sack tear, and it's a story, and the league's just gonna be like, okay, let's go with this. And he might get a little like Michael Strahan type love stuff that he got when he was on his run.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
refs
I'm hoping
were
so.
nice to him.
But historically, the referees in the NFL has never been nice to the silver and black. So,
I hear you.
Howie Long, how many penalties did Howie Long have in his career?
God, are you kidding me?
And how many
Yeah.
non-penalties on offensive linemen for holding didn't get called?
Yes, but I mean, you're talking about like the era where, boy, um, Al and the league were not in a good place. That was probably about as bad as it can get during that time. I was like
Yeah.
winning lawsuits. It was a pretty funny time. Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping now with the move to Vegas, the $2 billion stadium, that the Raiders will finally start getting a little bit of. I don't want love. I don't want the refs winning games for us. Just don't take the game away from us. Let us win.
Right. Yeah.
Just let us do our job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by us, I mean the Raiders, because we just sit here in front of a camera and talk about it, but we're not
Uh oh.
actually out there doing it.
Yeah. Shout out to family. What's up, Sherman? This is this is my cousin Shimon, one of the more knowledgeable people that I learned a lot from, teaching
Is
me
he
talking.
related to the boxer Merriweather?
Oh no, 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 no. We
Oh,
got our
okay.
own Meriwether, little clan
Okay.
here. So yeah, yeah, yeah. We might have to chat him up one day.
Um. So yeah, I think realistically, the defense this year is going to be fire. Um. I'm really excited to see what we do with Trey Taylor at the safety position and how we get him in, because he is just a baller.
Yeah, yeah,
He's such a great tackler, has a nose for the ball, flies around the field, very smart, plays with anticipation, and
yeah,
then to see kind of what gets solidified at that corner position. Who's going to be the starter? Is it going to be Jacorian? Is it going to be Richardson?
yeah,
Is it going to be one of these other guys that we got on the roster right now?
yeah. Jaquan Shepard. He's a very capable undrafted free agent. One of the highest, I think, guarantees out of the free agents that were signed, which is an important idea about who's going to make the team or has a good chance to make the team. So I think he probably makes the roster, or at minimum practice squad. But yeah, he's a good player and can add something. I'm interested in Amari Gaynor and what he's going to do at linebacker for us. I want to see. I think he's ready to do something immediately. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, he's gonna be interesting. I mean, we're pretty loaded on linebacker. I'm looking at it again right now. We got Spillane, Mauga, Masterson, Gaynor,
Yeah, yeah,
Eichenberg,
yeah,
Diablo,
yeah.
Butler, and
Oh
Bernie.
yeah, yeah. So I would say Butler, Masterson, Kaluga or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Mauga.
Moga, yeah. Those guys are days are numbered. Masterson's going to have to be competing for a roster spot uh, based on like what we added to the room. So I think Gaynor is just a better player, but we'll see.
He's a big dude. I mean, 6'3", 236 pounds. So he is definitely not a little ass boy.
No, yeah, and I would say he's probably closer to 240 something at this point. And yeah, I mean, he's just kind of well rounded, um, good in coverage, can rush the passer some. He's good run fits, very athletic, hits like a truck, hits like he hates people. So it's pretty cool to
And
watch.
that's what we want. That's what we
Yeah,
want. We want
yeah,
physical football players, right?
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, I think we did pretty well actually in this draft. Particularly, like I was, we went pretty heavy in the first 3 rounds, all offense. With Brock Bowers and 2 offensive linemen.
Yeah,
Um, and I wanted to see what the Raiders were going to do in regards to, tackling that defensive positions and adding depth there. And I'm pretty satisfied with what we ended up with. I think we got a pretty nasty squad. I think I don't think the Raiders defense is better this year than it was last year,
Yeah.
and we were pretty darn good last year.
Yeah. Number one scoring defense over the final 10 weeks last year. Uh, yeah, we were tied for what would have been, the top position as far as sacks per game. Um, if we continue to play the way we played, yeah, I mean, not only are we good, like we're possibly the best defense in the NFL, sort of good, which is, confident quarterback play puts you right in the conversation for doing historic stuff when you have a defense like that.
Let's see. So Raiders Rebel says, I don't see us bringing in any of these free agents at corner. I think the Raiders do not want to pay for somebody that might not make the roster. These kids are beast out here. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think that we've loaded up on corner with so much youth. I think right now they're
Mhm.
just trying to look and see, are any of these kids going to be able to be a starter?
Yeah,
And like you and I were talking about it last time, like I felt like if they were going to bring in a vet, they would have done it already. And then you made a good point, like, what's the hurry?
yeah,
Nobody's knocking down these dudes' doors right now. Everybody's like, let's see how our youth does, and if it doesn't pan out, then they'll go and grab somebody. So these guys are going to be sitting around for a little while. So
yeah.
I think I have to agree with that. I don't think that the Raiders are going to do much in regards to corner with the free agency as it is right now. We already got 90
Mhm.
people on the team on the roster.
Yeah.
So
So it'd have to be cutting somebody and that sort of thing. So I think they're prepared to go into training camp and all that with the roster that we have, and yeah, like look at adding a veteran corner down the road if somebody doesn't pan out, i.e., like a Sam Webb or somebody like that. It's probably somebody looking to struggle to make the roster right now. And then I think like somebody like Xavier Howard, his price might come down the more he waits. And so that's the kind of thing that this kind of time can do for your ability to negotiate. So I think we'll probably see something later on if we see anything.
So Max says, for him to win Defensive Player of the Year, the Raiders need to make the playoffs. Only playoff teams players win Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think that that's 100% true because Charles Woodson won Defensive Player of the Year with the Raiders when we didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think
I
it's possible.
think
I'll have to. We got to look at it. I think.
it's an interesting thing. Like I don't know. I don't know for sure if anybody has or not. If how 100% that is. However, to touch on that, I am very confident that the Raiders are making the playoffs this year. I am. I have already called it. I think we're going to probably win 12 to 14 games this year, and we will either win the AFC West or we will get the wild card. But I think that we win the AFC West, and the reason why I think that we win the AFC West is twofold. Number one is the Chiefs are trying to three-peat. We all know that that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
The stress and the strain, the pressure of three-peating has in history tended to not work out so well for teams. Number two, the Chiefs didn't get better this year; they got worse, in my opinion. Whereas the Raiders didn't get worse; we got better. So we already proved how you beat Patrick Mahomes. And we proved that we could beat Patrick Mahomes. In fact, we proved that we showed the method on how to make Patrick Mahomes cry on national TV. And then we go and we add another man who loves making quarterbacks cry. So now it's not just Max Crosby making him cry, not just John Jenkins making him cry or Malcolm Kuntz making him cry, but now it's Christian Wilkins making him cry.
Yeah.
So I fully believe that this year is going to be the year that we are going to finally take the reins from KC as the
Right.
dominant team in the AFC West,
Yeah.
and I am laying my entire social media credibility, if that's such a
Yeah.
thing,
Hmm.
out there that Aiden O'Connell is going to be QB1 week 1, and Aiden O'Connell is going to lead us to the playoffs with this team. I've
Hmm.
already proven statistically why that is on so many occasions. I'm not going to keep rehashing it, but all you got to do is go back and look at some of the Hall of Fame quarterbacks and check their rookie careers, and then compare them to Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah.
And Aiden O'Connell has
Yeah.
better stats in
Go
many
back and watch
cases.
my video on this very subject, on him, Breeze, Brady, and that kind of leap that I think he's going to make. Um, I'm going to predict that we sweep the Chiefs. I do not like how their team matches up with our defense. I think that um, they don't have the type of receivers that are going to be successful against our team. I think that the physicality that we're going to play with is going to be an issue for them. Um, and yeah, I think that this might be a down year for their team. Um,
Yeah,
they did not
I
get better
agree.
on defense. They're one dimensional at receiver with a guy they drafted that doesn't catch the ball well, which, it's going to be one of those woe is me things when they start dropping balls again, right? So yeah, I think this is the year that we kind of, like you said, take the reins. Like I said, I would not be surprised if this is a year where we go undefeated in our division again.
So A Train, my bro, what's going on, brother? Salute to you. Trying to keep expectations at a reasonable level, but I gotta disagree with you, brother, and I'm gonna tell you why. Denver is in rebuild, and LA is in rebuild, which means our only true competition in the division right now is the Chiefs. And like I said, the Chiefs didn't get better; they got worse.
Right.
They let their best corner go, and L'Jarius Sneed. Obviously, they had
Right.
to. They couldn't afford him. Um, they already lost Tyreek a couple years ago, and now their other up and coming receiver is probably going to jail. Who knows what's going to happen with that case? But he's definitely got some suspensions coming if he doesn't do jail time. Fleeing the scene of an accident is a felony, and that's exactly what he did.
It is. Yeah.
So it's quite likely that he's going to do some type of jail time. Probably not a whole lot. We're not talking about prison time here. Nobody died or got seriously injured, but for that car wreck, the racing wreck. But he's definitely got felony charges coming his way for that stuff. We'll see how that all pans out. But I will say this: the Raiders' defense got better, and we dominated Patrick Mahomes last year. In that, well, I mean, we really played the first half. In the first meeting, we dominated him. Then
Yeah.
we kind of let our foot off the gas, and we didn't really come out, shooting from both hips in the second half. But in the first half, the Raiders were looking like, oh my god, we're gonna get the Chiefs in this game. Well, we came back and we made up for that, and I think that with Aiden O'Connell now having Brock Bowers as another super weapon tight end type of dude, who is a mismatch out there in the middle of the field, even on the out at wide receiver. He is a mismatch. Michael Mayer, just eating up the middle of the field as well. A big body target. I mean, you're thinking about these two kids, especially with Brock being such a great receiver. It's Hunter Renfrow when John Gruden made the joke which is like a viral video you guys can go watch if you haven't seen it. But back when they drafted Hunter Renfrow, he was making a joke, said, "Yeah, our goal with this draft was to get bigger, faster, leaner, meaner, all of this stuff." And then he pops on a picture of Hunter Renfrow with his shirt off, looking like a couch potato college kid. Now you got a dude who actually fits the bill of what John Gruden said. And he's going to be playing basically in what was Hunter Renfrow's role on the team. But he's taller, he's bigger, he's stronger, better hands. And so I think that for all of these reasons, we sweep Denver as always because they don't even have a quarterback. They got a rookie over there who can't throw the ball past 4 yards. He's really good at throwing at 4 yards, but that's not going to cut it in the NFL, despite what some other people thought about him pre-draft. I was never high on him. I don't think he's going to be that great.
You know what would be crazy is if you thought a receiver was generational and they went to a rival team.
That would be crazy, and that would suck that the Raiders did not grab the spawn of one of the best receivers ever in history. That really sucks. However, that's not the generational player that I was talking about, because I was talking about Brian Thomas Jr. was my generational player. My consolation prize was Brendan Rice. So, and if I remember correctly, he went to Jacksonville, who is not in our conference. But Brendan did go to LA, did go there. But I mean, now I hope that I hope he's not even 25% of his dad.
Yeah.
But
that's
no, I think for that reason. And then, you got young receivers there. I didn't see, I think that a lot of draft grades had the Chargers at like a C+ draft. They got a lot of issues there. Even their pass rushers. Both their pass rushers are old now. Khalil Mack and what's his face over there, who can't ever stay healthy. He's a beast. Bosa, yeah. He's a beast
Bosa.
when he's healthy, but the dude can't stay on the field. And that's why they were rumors about cutting Bosa and letting him go, because he has injury issues.
Yeah, guys, don't worry about the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh is going to destroy that team.
I mean, he'll destroy it, and then he will eventually make it a good team, because he is good at building up teams, but it's going to take him a while because he's going to have to tear it down.
Yeah,
and we'll see how much patience he has with Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I think that the issue that we have nowadays is that I don't think his act, the way that he manages people, flies for very long. And I think he will.
That is true.
Be there just long enough to tear it down, but not long enough to build it back up, which is awesome. Good job, Sandy.
That is true, because a lot of people don't.
LA.
A lot of people don't realize everybody thinks that he left San Francisco on good terms, and it was of his own volition, and that he had the dream job of going to Michigan. That's not at all what happened.
No.
There was serious contention in that building. He had lost the locker room. The ownership hated him and wanted him gone, despite him getting to a Super Bowl and just not being able to win it. But his personality is extraordinarily difficult to manage. Now, when you're talking about 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, 21-year-old kids, the big guy who's been there, he's the coach, he's a quarterback, he's great. Yes, he's weird as hell, but he's, he just puts you in awe, and you just do whatever he says and you go with whatever coach says. That works in college. It doesn't work in the NFL, and that proved his issues in San Francisco, where he ended up basically being told, yeah, we're going to let you go. And that's when he was like, well, I'm going to go to Michigan because there's an opening.
Yeah.
That's how that really went down. People think that he went there. No. He went there, he got his championship, and he left because there was issues there too.
Yes, and living up in Washington State, there was a lot to hear about him. Doug Baldwin and Richard Sherman absolutely hate that man's guts, and if you listen to them talk about him, it's really clear who he is. The stuff he did to them just in the draft process was beyond low. He badmouthed them, his own players in the draft process. Richard Sherman switched like to cornerback just to get away from him on offense. Think about that. Yeah. So I mean, I just don't think that kind of thing lasts very long. He left Stanford under bad conditions, so it'll just continue to be like that.
Yeah, and because people think of his brother has had such a long tenure over there in
Right.
Baltimore, Super Bowl
Different
champ.
people.
Completely, they look similar.
Yeah.
You can tell they're brothers, but
Yes.
absolutely different personalities. And Jim Harbaugh is, I don't, he has a lot of OCD. He's kind of like the guy. Like maybe when he was being born, it took too long to get out of the birth canal and lost oxygen to his brain or something. And I'm being serious. I'm not even trying to make fun of the dude, but like that literally happens where like as an infant, because you should think that him and John have a very similar personality growing up together, being brothers, being coaches, being
Yeah.
players, all that stuff. They should be very
Yeah.
similar, but they're polar
Yeah.
opposites. Like
Very
Jim is
different.
weird
Yeah.
and
Very different.
controlling.
Yeah.
And then just says the odd things, whereas his brother is like very level-headed, like
Hmm.
just says the right thing all the time, and very stable. Like
Hmm.
that's why he's been the coach there in Baltimore for so long now. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. I do think that I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna. Well, yeah, I don't think he is tearing down L.A. right now, and then trying to rebuild it in his own image. We'll see how long that pans out, because here's the other issue with the Chargers is their ownership. The owner's
Yes.
son wants to be the GM, and he wants to be in control, and he wants to have a say, and he wants to, we're a billionaire family, so I'm bored and I have nothing to do and I don't know anything about football, but I'm going to stick my nose in everything. We'll see how well that works out with a guy like
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh.
Oh man. Yeah. That's not going to work. That's not going to work at all.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is going to be. So you just gave me even more of like a reason to smile inside, because this is going to be such a dumpster fire. And there's almost nothing better than watching the Chargers do this to themselves over and over again. I have some Charger fan friends. Shout out there if you're watching, but I'm sorry, guys. It's just too funny. It's just every time. It's insane. Good job. Yeah.
Yeah. And so look, Raiders Rebel, yeah. So our record in the AFC West, I think sweeping your division is difficult because it is football, it is the NFL, any given Sunday, that whole thing. You are talking about the best players of the best at every team. Now, some
Mhm.
teams, I think, there's an analogy in NASCAR. I don't actually watch NASCAR, but this analogy in a Tom Cruise movie I watched when I was like 12 um, makes a lot of sense, which is in NASCAR, all the cars are essentially set up the exact same way, right? There's
Yeah.
not one car is not faster than the other. It's the
Yeah. No.
driver, right? And so in the NFL, it's kind of similar. There are teams that are a little bit more stacked, but overall, it's not like basketball. It's not like the NBA where you literally just have a stacked team and everybody else sucks. Whereas
Right.
in football, the teams are fairly even.
Yeah.
And so it really comes down to the coach and the team gelling and fighting for each other. And the teams that
Right.
do that are the teams that win. And so that's why when you look at a lot of these Super Bowl champion teams, you always go back and you look at their coach. Look at Bill Walsh. Look at Bill Belichick during his heyday. I mean, his style is
Yeah.
outdated now and it doesn't work now, but in his heyday, worked
Yeah.
great. John Harbaugh won a Super Bowl. Great coach.
Hmm.
So you always go back and you look at these coaches and you look at the teams that they had. They weren't the most. The Patriots are a perfect example. They were never the stacked team. Never. They had
And the
plug
one
and
time
play.
they were that they lost
They
to the
lost.
Giants.
Right.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because the Giants were hungrier. They wanted it more. And they also knew that defense was key against Tom Brady. So I think it's the same way. Like if you look at it right now in the AFC West, our only competition really is KC. Because there is not a team in the AFC West that is more united, more hungry, more energized, and got better as far as talent and depth wise goes. The roster on the Raiders in the AFC West, and I know there are idiots on ESPN and Fox News and all this. They they're just spewing out the same old garbage they always do, which is the Raiders are the bottom of the AFC West. They got us ranked at the bottom. Not the team that just drafted a rookie quarterback, not the team that just blew up their wide receiver core, not the
Mm-hmm.
team that's going to try and three-peat, and we know that that's like almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
No, they got
They
the
picked
Raiders
them.
at the bottom of the barrel.
They picked ahead of us for a reason. You got a team that picked at 6, a team that like picked ahead of
Picked
us
at
and then
12.
had to take an $85 million cap hit.
Yeah.
And supposedly they're going to finish ahead of us. So I'm going to say no to that. That makes no sense. But we're used to it, right? That's how the Raiders get covered. Reasonably, yeah, it's just the Chiefs, dude. And then I think our other competition in the AFC that we have to kind of keep an eye on is Baltimore. Um, and I could see us, those three teams, really kind of having the best records in the AFC next season. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. I think my guess is at this point in the year, Raiders win the AFC West. Chiefs make a wild card. Baltimore wins. Um, Cincinnati could be there in the AFC as long as Burrow stays healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who else in the AFC is really strong though, outside of us, the Chiefs, Baltimore, and Cincinnati?
I mean, it depends on what you think about Miami, what you think about Buffalo and what they've done this offseason. It depends on how healthy you think Aaron Rodgers will be and what that means for the Jets.
Not worried about the Jets.
Yeah.
I don't think they
So,
even make the playoffs.
wow. Bold
I bet.
prediction.
Nah, they don't.
Yeah.
They're not even
Yeah.
gonna. It's same. They have. Who do they have? They have Aaron Rodgers. Can he even
Their
last the
defense is
season?
good. Defense is good. They got some receivers.
Defense was good last year.
Yeah. And I mean, they were competitive with like Zach Wilson. So,
Where did they draft?
yeah, at 10. Yeah. It was Zach
For a
Wilson.
reason. For a reason. Again, that's why I'm saying they have a 75-year-old quarterback.
Oh man, he put on 30 years in the off season.
Yeah, he put on 30 years. He did
that
some
account was worth 30.
he did some home remedies that went bad, and
Oh
instead
man.
of the anti-aging, it forward aged him. He started talking about politics, and all the gray hairs just started popping out.
Oh no, dude. Yeah, stay away from politics, man.
So yeah,
Um,
I'm not worried about the Jets. I think Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be able to make it through a season. In fact, I don't know that Aaron Rodgers is even motivated to play football anymore. To be honest with you, he just doesn't look like a motivated person to play. And so they've kind of shot themselves in the foot in trying to ride with this Aaron Rodgers train, hoping it's going to work out. And I don't see it working out for them.
yeah, I guess technically
Buffalo is,
Jacksonville should be. Go ahead.
yeah, Jacksonville's always in there, obviously, with the AFC South. I guess that's them and Miami. So one of them's going to be in there, but I mean, are they really that good as far as playoff situation? I don't know. that
You
either
would
one of
think the
those really
Dolphins.
scare too
Yeah,
much.
Dolphins
I
lost
would
players. So.
Buffalo would be a bigger concern. Obviously, playing Baltimore would be a bigger concern, and obviously that's going to be in the playoffs, depending on how everything lays out. But I think, yeah, I think the Raiders. Um, I think that the Raiders are going to win the AFC West just based on how things are right now. Now that can change because there can be injuries, or a team could just surprise everybody.
Mhm.
The quarterback who shall not be named down in Denver could come out and win Rookie of the Year. Who knows?
Come on, man. Come on.
I mean, he could
Not
be a
with that team.
generational player. Could be a generational player,
He could be Moses, but with that team and
bro.
that coach, it wouldn't matter.
He might just come out and score 35 points a game by himself. I mean, he literally might just come out, throw the ball to himself, juke everybody, and run
Well,
for 80-yard touchdowns
I'll
left,
tell
right, and
you
center.
this: if they had got Brendan Rice for him to throw to, we'd be scared.
If they'd gotten Brian Thomas Jr., Brendan Rice, and that quarterback, maybe they have a chance at beating the Raiders. Maybe then. But as it
Dude,
stands right
all
now,
aboard! What
All
is
Aboard
up?
is here. All Aboard's going to be
Yeah.
on the show tomorrow. Just in case you guys did not see the announcement on the community page, All Aboard will be joining special guest tomorrow, same time, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Salute to
Good
you,
stuff.
brother. How are you doing?
Good stuff. Yeah,
Looking
it's gonna
forward to
throw to.
that.
He's gonna throw to me and you. Yeah, me, you, a janitor, and I think like a dude he met at Stater Brothers grocery store bagging some stuff is gonna come with him. So we'll see what happens.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Are we still talking about Bo?
Yeah, Bo Nix. He's got a
He's going to throw us
grocery
the ball?
guy and a janitor, me and you. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm
Bro,
gonna drop everything.
I'm not trying to get out there and catch no NFL passes. You know what those
Dude,
linebackers would do to me? I want to
bro, if
live.
I could I'd do it just to sabotage the Broncos. I'd be like the worst receiver that ever lived.
I don't know if it's worth dying for though.
I'd die for my Raiders and the game check. Yeah, I'd do that. Yeah, yeah. I just wear
I'm
like I'd wear the practice helmet pad thing, that like goofy thing. Just
the mushroom head, the
yeah,
mushroom
man.
helmet.
Like in the game, I don't give a shit, dude. I'd come out there
Bro,
and be like, yeah,
you might
what?
have to
Talk
wear
shit
like a
here.
bulletproof vest. No, better yet, you know what you'd have to wear out there? You know those when they're training the canines for the cops and they wear that
Yeah.
big suit and stuff, so yeah, that's what you'd have to wear out there. Like
The
one of those big
canine attack
sumo
suit,
suits. You know what I mean?
dude. Why not? I'm not
Like
gonna catch the ball
I would
anyways.
run out, I would go out there and I would grab one of those blow up sumo suits. So where
Yeah,
when they hit you, you just kind of bounce around like a
bounce off.
ball. Yeah,
Yeah,
like a beach ball. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. We'd probably get one
Um,
game in. We gotta make sure it's the Raider game. Yeah,
so that's where I'm at with it. I think I'm with you. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to blow up the Chargers over the next couple of years. He'll probably get fired.
yeah,
The ego issue between the owner's son and him, I think, is going to be a interesting dynamic that's going to
yeah. It'll be
destroy that.
funny.
And
Yeah,
then I think same thing. I think Denver, if they have another losing season and it's bad, and they might be looking at it like, man, this Sean Payton dude, maybe it wasn't Sean Payton wasn't the genius down there in New Orleans. Maybe it was the quarterback they had.
interesting. Yeah, I, you know what I feel about Sean Payton. I think that guy is a joke. But yeah, so
Did you see the movie about him yet?
I didn't.
It's
I
Kevin
think
James,
there's an
bro. It's
X.
actually a funny movie.
I have to check it
It's
out.
not representative of that dude at
Yeah,
all. But
no, but
it's a
I
decent
heard
movie.
it's
It's a
funny.
good kid. It's a good family movie. It's a feel good movie.
I saw the non-family movie of him taking bong rips with his players. So that was the movie I saw.
That's interesting. Pretty
Yeah,
sure that's a violation of the NFL's rules. I mean,
seriously.
unless it was just like, I don't know, tobacco or something.
Yeah, I'm sure it was tobacco.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Raiders, we smoked cigars in the locker room. That's all they were doing.
Yeah, that's all. It was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, Raiders Rebel says Bo doesn't know who he's going to throw to.
Yeah. Did they trade Cortland Sutton yet, or?
Well, I think that I don't think that's happened yet.
Yeah.
Um, I think he's going to throw to Jack Jones at least at least 3 times. Deke Marion Richardson at least once.
Oh man.
Now Richardson might not catch it, but he'll at least break it up.
Oh
Um,
man, bro, shots fired. No, I think
got Trey
Trayvon
Taylor out
Mullen.
there. Trey Taylor, he's a ball hawk. If he gets a shot, I mean, if we're up like 50-0, then you put all the rookies in at that point, and so then Trey Taylor gets to feast. So that's who I think Bo's going to throw the ball to twice this year coming up.
2 completions.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is. Here's the thing about Patrick Mahomes, little Patty. Little Patty is not intimidated. I'll give him this. Max Crosby even said it. Out of all the QBs that he talks crap to, the
Mhm.
only one that's brave enough to really get up in his face has been Patrick Mahomes. Now, granted, that's because he has his boyfriend, Travis Kelsey, to protect him, right? Always comes and fights his fights for him.
Oh
But
boy.
um, he won't back down. So here's what I'm expecting because Jack Jones is one of those dudes that enjoys conflict. And so I think Patrick Mahomes is going to test him
Mm.
in both games. He's going to try and throw his way. And I
Mm-hmm.
think Jack knows this because he's also
Mm-hmm.
like Jack Jones. When you hear him talk, you think, oh, this kid, he's from the hood. He doesn't know what he's doing. Jack Jones is actually extremely intelligent. Extremely intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell
Yeah.
because he knew the Chargers play on that pick six he did with them. He knew it as second that they lined up. He knew what the play was.
Yeah.
That shows you this dude's smart. He studies,
Yeah.
right? He tries to
Yeah.
downplay it. In his interview about that, he even tried to downplay it. And he's like, "Oh, I just took a shot and it worked out. And I actually, I'm just glad I was able to
Come
hang on to the
on.
ball." Like, dude,
No.
we know that you knew what that play
No.
was, right?
Yeah.
AP
That's silly
even
and
said
too.
it. So
He's yeah, it's all true.
he's gonna play he's gonna play. Oh, I'm just the dumb corner, right? I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm doing out here. I don't know what this
Yeah.
play is gonna be. And then he's gonna bait Patrick Mahomes because Patrick Mahomes is a very prideful person, and he's gonna pick
Right.
six him again.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like this is. It's not going to be the last time that he embarrasses an AFC West quarterback. Like that dude, he watches tape. He knows what's coming. Or he did the same thing. That's how he got Mahomes also, just because he knew what the play was. He baits, being able to sit back and bait a quarterback at that level, of that stature, it's not normal, man. Like you don't do
And
that. And
that's
so,
what I was saying, which is so special that I seen out of Jack Jones is his reaction time. Now, there's a lot of corners who try to bait quarterbacks, and a lot of times it
yeah,
doesn't work out because that ball flies
yeah,
with such velocity that
right,
usually your reaction time is slower and you're not able to get there. Where I noticed with Jack
yeah,
Jones is his reaction time. The second the quarterback has decided to throw the ball, he's already reacting, right? Just that
yes,
twitch of
yes,
starting
yeah,
the motion, Jack's already
well,
responding to it. And it's so
yeah.
instantaneous that he gets there to the ball. So that's why I'm super excited about Jack Jones. I don't know why we haven't already given him an extension. I think that probably should have been done. I think they're probably just waiting to make sure that this isn't a fluke, that he really is what he appears to be on tape. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
I've watched his OTAs. He is
insane.
what he is. It is
Yeah,
not a
so
fluke.
been watching him since he went to Long Beach Poly. Shout out to Long Beach Poly. But that dude, is, Jack Rabbit Jones, nickname for him for a reason. Long Beach Poly Jack Rabbits, what's up? But that dude has that kind of reaction time, man. Like it's insane. He will be all over stuff, and then the tape, right? So he's got that, insane physical ability, crazy 10-yard split, right? He's just really fast and quick at the same time. Crazy three cone. You can see that when it comes up, looking at his three cone. And then on top of it, he's thinking ahead of everybody else at the same time. So it's just, it looks like he's like traveling ahead of time. It's insane.
Yeah, that's why I'm super excited to see him ball out this year. Really just solidify his position with the team. I want to see that kid just be a. I want to see him spin like Max Crosby. That's one dude that I want to see be a Raider until he retires.
Yeah.
And I think that I want AP to be a Super Bowl champion coach and spend his entire coaching career with the Raiders. I'd love to see him do a 20, 30-year stint with the Raiders and let's just win a whole bunch of Super Bowls with him. But I want to see him. I would like to see Jack Jones stay with AP because there is one thing I have in my life. I have had several Jack Joneses in my life, little brothers that I've had to
Yep.
take under my wing. We all
Yeah.
have had those guys, right?
Yeah.
They are special people, but
Yep.
because of the way that their mind works is a little bit
Yeah.
different than some other people, you also
Yeah.
got to have somebody to take them and put them under their wing and just kind of look out for them because sometimes they don't look out for themselves. And
Absolutely.
that's Jack Jones, and that's exactly what Jack Jones is exactly where he needs to be with Coach AP because that's
Absolutely.
exactly who Coach AP is.
Yeah. He's a Ferrari. If you have an inexperienced driver by a Ferrari, then it ends up just being a wreck.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I look at it. Guys like that, people like that are special. They're Ferraris. You just have to know what you're doing and have to take the time to take care of it because I mean it'll pay you back, right? So that's how I look at a guy like that. And I think if he's not, he'll probably go wherever AP goes just because of that. But he's also going to be bleeding Raider colors at the same time. So I could see him staying just for that too.
Raiders Rebel says he got away with that stuff last year because nobody knew who he was or what he could do. QBs are going to be aware. Of course, they're going to be aware. Of course, they're going to be. But that's why I said you end up um, you end up in a situation. For example, right the this pick six against the Chargers. What are you gonna? You're just not going to run that play,
Yeah.
right? Um, a little
Mm-hmm.
stunt route like he did against KC, where he picked off that little curl route, right? You
Mm-hmm.
just going to stop running those plays. Well, if you do
Yeah.
that, you become one dimensional. You basically have to just stick to one side, and this is why Namdi Asamoah was so great because literally just nobody would throw him the ball at all. So, like we were saying earlier, if that's what offensive coordinators want to do with Jack Jones, just not throw the ball his way, perfect. Here's the difference, though, between Jack Jones and Namdi Asamoah. Namdi Asamoah only wanted to play on the right side of the field. He did not
Right.
want to move around. He wanted to stay
Mm-hmm.
on his side of the field. That's where he was comfortable and that's where he was dominant. And we were okay with that. Jack Jones can move all over, and he's comfortable moving all over, and
Right.
he'll play wherever. So
Yeah.
you can literally, if that's the case of, well, we don't want to get embarrassed by Jack Jones, so we're not going to throw in his direction, then all the Raiders got to do is just say, Jack, just line up on their best receiver, just take their best receiver out of the game because they're
Right.
not going to throw.
That
Now
was
that's not going to happen. That's not even going to happen this year. Namdi Asamoah did not get that reputation until about the third year, and that's when they were finally like, God, we got to just stop throwing the ball this way, right? So you're
Yeah.
still looking at a full year this year of quarterbacks are going to test Jack Jones because he's not Superman. It's not like he's taking away every pass. It's not like he's picking off
Hmm.
every pass. He
No.
got two pick sixes and he should have had three, dropped one. But they're still going to throw his way. He's still going to get his interceptions this year. And it's
Hmm.
going to take some time for quarterbacks to realize this is not a good idea. But they try not to do that in the NFL because the second that you tell a quarterback, do not throw in this direction, you've just limited a third of your playbook.
Yeah.
That's not a way to
Yeah.
win. Now, it
Right.
worked against the Raiders with Namdi Asamoah. We lost a lot, even though he was the best corner, best shutdown corner in the NFL. But that's because we didn't have any other team. Like we couldn't score
Yeah.
points.
I will say this about it was really frustrating to me that Namdi made that choice about staying only on the right side because he could not follow the best receiver on the team, and so the good coordinator obviously would just move him away from Namdi.
Yeah,
And so, how much of his ability to be such a shutdown corner was based on the fact that he so often was not on the best receiver because that would just be dumb, right?
right. And
Just
that's the
put him somewhere
knock
else.
against Namdi's career because when he went to the Eagles, they tried to play him in zone, and it was a disaster. That
Hmm.
he had basically played one style of coverage in the NFL his entire career, and then they said,
Hmm.
okay, stop playing press man coverage, and go play
Right,
zone and move all over the field. And it was a nightmare. He couldn't do it. That's not where his skill set was.
right,
And that's why I think that's definitely the difference between him and a Jack Jones. Whereas Jack Jones will go wherever, he doesn't
right.
care. He's got that swag about him. Like he literally has the swag of a wide receiver, like a star wide
Yeah,
receiver. Like I want the ball thrown my way. I want it thrown my way.
yeah,
Please, I want to
yeah,
catch this. I want to steal
yeah.
this.
The old style, kind of a little bit of that Dion at corner kind of stuff, where it's like he's going to talk crap, and probably need the head coach to talk him out of getting a 15-yard penalty or something like that. But yeah, I like the swag.
Yeah.
I like the intimidation factor. Let's do it for sure.
Uh, and then let's see. Hold on. A Train says, I have to ask if we trade Tucker, you think we get a second round draft pick for Tucker? No,
No, no.
nobody's going to
Um,
give a second round. Not for a guy that's small. He's only 5'10", I think, 187 pounds. So
yes.
he's a little dude out there. Yeah, he showed some flash, but no team's going to give up a second round pick for him.
Yeah.
There's just too many guys that come out of the draft every year that fall in the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round,
Hmm.
who are built just like him. Right now, if
Yeah.
he was a guy that ran a 4.33 type of 40, and he was 6'2", maybe you get a second round for that guy. So the size
If he was
factor
drafted
is,
highly.
yeah. And I mean, if he was like a fourth round guy, but then he played his rookie year for us and he scored
Right.
3 or 4 touchdowns and he got 700 or 800
Hmm.
yards. Now
Yeah.
you can, because it's like the stock market. You're not buying the price today. You're buying the price of what you think it's going to be in
Yeah.
a year from now, 5 years from now.
Yeah.
That's what
Absolutely.
you're looking at when you do these types of trades. As I had done, my video earlier today was about article from heavy.com suggesting and proposing a trade of Michael Mayer for a second round draft pick, which is not going to happen. And I addressed that in my video. But it was an interesting thing to think about is, people are saying, well, would anybody give up a second round draft pick? I think people would give up a first round draft pick for Michael Mayer all
Yeah.
day. Not a high. You're not going to get like a top 15, but
No.
bottom 25 to 32 draft pick. A team
Yeah.
that's expected to be
Good.
somewhere around there, like a good team like Baltimore, they might give up that to add
Yeah.
a stud like Michael Mayer.
You might have to give them a mid-round pick back or something like that. I could see
Right, and then
Mayer
and
and a
that's like
fifth or
in the
something for a
article said
first.
we'd give up a 6th round draft pick and Michael Mayer for a second. I'm thinking if you were to do that, you would probably want at least a 1st round draft pick from a good team like San Francisco, a team like
Mhm.
Baltimore, a team you know is going to make the playoffs, or
Yeah.
they are expecting that they're going to make a playoffs. Those would be the ones that would offer that for a
Mhm.
stud like Michael Mayer. But again, that's not going to happen. The Raiders are
Yeah.
super excited about the
That's,
offensive weapons that we have and the depth.
yeah. 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 I think you could get a mid-round pick for Trey Tucker right now. Based on what he did, you could probably get like a fifth or something, a fourth or fifth for him from the right team. That's about it. Um, I obviously I think he's worth more than that, so I don't think we're trading him anytime soon.
It's going to be interesting to see how the Raiders use Trey Tucker this year. Like Street Professor says, we need for Tucker to stretch the field. We do have some quick receivers now, some young guys that can
Mm-hmm.
stretch the field,
Yeah.
and so it'll be interesting to see how we utilize those guys. But the same thing with Trey. Trey is he's one of those guys who really started to show because at the beginning of the season he dropped some passes. Even in preseason, he dropped some passes he
Right.
should have caught.
Yeah.
He really cleaned that up towards the second half of the season. He was, I mean, even that bomb, 50-yard bomb from AOC, where he literally had to dive for it. That was just a beautiful hand-eye coordination and protecting the ball and not trapping the ball on the ground and all that. So that was amazing to see. It's going
Yeah.
to really come down to his consistency. Can he keep that up consistently? And then how do we utilize him now that we have Brock Bowers and we've brought in other receivers who are bigger than him?
Right.
Do we and all of this is going to really play out in camp and preseason, right? We're
Yeah.
going to look at
Yeah.
these guys. Trey Tucker is going to be playing in the preseason, mark my words, because they still need to know what do you have with Trey Tucker. He's not Devontae Adams. He's not going to like, oh, you just sit down. We don't want to risk you. It's going to be Trey Tucker's going to be out there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't a first round pick or anything like that. Um, he has the leg up, obviously, on like the undrafted free agents that we brought in. But we can't be sure. Excuse me.
Yep. Yeah, Adrian, all the board Raiders will be on, so everybody is paying attention right now. Special guest, he'll be on the show tomorrow, same time, 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, which I believe is 4 o'clock Pacific Time, and I think 8 o'clock Eastern Time for all of you guys in different time zones. Looks like Hot Beavers is choking on something. Get some water, man. Get some water. You good?
We're back. Got
All
some
right.
water.
Nice.
Thank you. Awesome.
So, guys, just a quick little reminder: if you want to get the Dry Fit Just Win Baby Max Crosby T-shirts, the QR code is on the screen. Go and get them right now. The sale, they were on sale for $19.95. That sale's now over because we met our quota. So they are still on sale, but not $19.95 anymore. They have gone back up to the pre-sale sale price of $24.95. So if you guys want to go get your t-shirts right now, go and grab them right now. You can also grab a poster. Those are also on sale right now for $14.95. Unfortunately, the shipping on those is like $10 because we have to ship them in a tube, and the USPS is ridiculously expensive on shipping a poster. I don't know why. Don't blame me. I'm not making any money off of the shipping. That's just what it costs to actually send it to you guys. So go and check that out right now. Like I said, all those things are on sale right now, and we got some more products that will be coming out. So I appreciate everybody that has been buying shirts, buying posters so far. It is helpful to the program to keep us going so that we can grow this out and expand this out further. With that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off because it is Mother's Day and I got to cook a special little dinner for the wifey. So, hope all of you had a great day today. And, be good to the mamas of the world
Yes.
every day. Every day.
Yeah, for real. Happy Mother's Day to any mothers that are listening, any mothers that will be listening later on, and to my
All the
mama, I'm
Raiderettes.
sure. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, for real. So yeah, everybody, go have a good night. Be nice to your mamas.
All right, with that, we'll end it the same way we always do. You guys know what we do. Say it with me. War cry. Raider. Just win.